The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of God. And if children, then heirs, heirs of God, and joint heirs with God. If so be that we suffer with him, that we may be also glorified together. For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. For the earnest expectation of the creature waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of God. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who hath subjected the same, in hope, because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of God. For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now. And not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves, waiting for the adoption, to wit, the redemption of our body.
According to the Holy Scriptures, Yahushua, the Son of the Most High, is set to bring immortality to the nation of Israel, the elect, via establishing the tabernacle of David. As we talk about the second coming of who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, he is coming to take down this current world ruled by Esau, Edom, and establish a righteous kingdom, which is synonymous with the throne of David. That's scriptural, which is a government that's going to run this world in righteousness.
I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven, and of days, and they brought him near before him. And there was given him dominion and glory, and a kingdom, that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. And the kingdom and dominion, and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven, shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him.
The transfer of rulership is coming, and the kingdom of heaven will be on earth. Righteousness will be spread throughout the whole four corners of the earth. Wickedness will be put down.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakam and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS, who rule well, teach well, being great examples to us younger brothers, and peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers, the listeners, who may have came back to the obedience of the scripture through faith in Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua. All right, and what I want to get into today, is based off a video I seen, from this site. All right, and it's pretty much just touching on, current, news, things that are going on, various different topics, and we're going to get into these things and how it relates to prophecy. Okay, because at the end of the day, all right, we are at the end game. Okay, when it comes to the prophecy, that's going to remove Esau, Edom from power and establish, all right, Jacob, all right, which are the tribes and, the remnant of Israel under Yahushua as the authorities in the earth. Okay, and we're at the end. All right, we're right here. at the end game, okay, of what the Most High, intends to do in the earth. Okay, so when we go here to First Peter chapter 4, okay, which we always get it, but we in these times. All right, so you go to First Peter chapter 4, verse 7. It said, "But the end of all things is at hand. Be ye therefore sober and watch unto prayer." Okay, the end of all things is at hand. Be ye therefore sober and watch unto prayer. So we in the time, to be in tune, all right, with what's going on. And there's so many distractions out there, so many things that, Esau has, pretty much on loop, okay, in his news. That's a distraction that really don't matter. Okay. So as we watch, which it costs, to watch, it takes labor because you got to toil, you got to dig for things, you got to cross, reference, fact check, particular things, okay, to bring it out. All right. To who, man? All right. Hey, Lord made us a watchman unto Israel. All right. And warn them of what's to come. Okay. And the elect will take heed. All right. So we are here, at the end game. Okay, this man, he's ready. All right, the Lord has it to where this man is ready to roll out his NWO. And what we're seeing is that this man, all right, he has all these governments at war with their citizens. Okay, is pretty much going to go into a get down, a lay down approach to this NWO, to this new system, this new way that they want to bring, this new digital system. Okay, under Satan. Okay, where people will worship their AI. Okay, was that Yashawamba went into that, how pretty much people, all right, there's a cult, that's worshiping, this man's AI. Okay, the you see, there's a growing, cult of people worshiping the AI of Esau Edom. All right, and all these things are prophesied and written about in the scriptures, and we're seeing them unfold, and we're watching the events that's leading up into these major prophecies of war. All right, and the CHIP, which is the MOTB. So, I want to go ahead and get the video, and go ahead and share it. All right, and we'll get into it.
All right, welcome to today's featured interview. I'm Mike Adams, the founder of Brighteon.com, and today we're joined by one of our favorite and most requested guests, Steve Quayle from Gen 6 Productions, or stevequayle.com. Steve is going to join us today to talk about World War III, the financial collapse, the weather weapons, and so much more. Steve Quayle, sir, it's always an honor to have you on. You have so much information. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Mike. And, as we're watching all the world events go on, I want people to understand that we've got to be able to cut through all the crap and the morass of camouflage and distraction to get to the bottom line. And ladies and gentlemen, the bottom line is we are at war right now. World War III is underway. We're not fixing to get into it. We're not looking to come into it. We are at it. And when Mike and I were just setting up for today to talk kind of what the topics we're going to cover, weather weapons and weatherized warfare is critical to understanding what's going on right now in the South, headed through Missouri, up into the states that have been destroyed, Missouri, Tennessee, and some of these towns
Illinois.
are wiped out forever. But it's weather warfare and modification. There's over hundreds of patents. It's no longer trying to argue if it's real or not. We're seeing it. And this is called asymmetric warfare, along with all of the trains, along with all of the food warehouses, along with the food production. We are at war. And the only people that don't seem to get that, Mike, in my opinion, are the American citizens that are watching it happen, sitting back going, gee, that's unusual. Nothing's unusual.
and he made the point, that American people are pretty much not reacting to the government being at war with them. Here it is. You have all these trail derailments. Okay, you have the inflations. You have, the bank failures. Okay, the juice. The juice demic. People dropping dead. Okay, and there's no major reaction, from the citizens, man, because the elites have done, all right, a terrific job at dumbing down the masses, especially over here in America, man. Okay, the masses of the people are just zombies, man. Okay, they don't know what's going on. They don't really care. There's no reaction as long as people are able to be entertained. Okay, eat and get their rocks off. All right, their sexual desire. Americans don't care what's going on around them, man. They don't care what's happening to them, man. Okay, this man is he's matter of fact. Let's get these real quick. Let's go back to it. All right, this man is in an all-out war against the people, and people are so dumbed down and engulfed in entertainment. All right, a nigga biggest concern is what? The playoffs. A nigga's biggest concern, okay, is what, man? Clout, social media, chasing Eve. Like niggas is just on the, especially Jake on a low level frequency, man. But the rest of these Americans too, you have some Edomites that's, but Esau's so crafty. He got this fake woke culture where people are fighting against, things that really don't matter. Okay. So you go here. This is Isaiah 14:5. It says, the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shai, have broken the staff of the wicked and the scepters of the rulers. See, the Lord is finna end this man's rulership. He's finna break Esau's rulership. And the scriptures go into the way this man will rule over the people. It says, he who smote the people in wrath with a continual smoke, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted and none hindereth. Yeah, this man rules the earth with a continual stroke. Like this man just has all type of madness and death and oppression and sickness, and he just makes earth, the existence in earth, terrible, man. Okay, this man, like, he won't stop, and there's no major uproar, from the citizens, man. All right, because they all right, because Esau, Edom, like I say, these elites have done a terrific job at dumbing down the masses, man. Okay, but the scripture, that they go into how, this man rules. Okay, and this is why we pray for the downfall of this place, man. This is the book of Proverbs 28:15 says, as a roaring lion and a raging bear, so is a wicked ruler over the poor people. Okay, and this man, that's another thing, like poverty, like the way poverty is in the world, because of how unevenly wealth is distributed, it doesn't have to be nowhere near what it is, man. Okay, but this man is so wicked. All right, he wants the masses poor. That's why the scriptures speak about rich or poor, because he wants to do away with middle class and convenient living. Like, nah, this man wants everyone. Either you're gonna be an elite or in that circle, or you're gonna be a poor. Okay, this digital currency, you will be poor off this digital currency. You have just enough. All right, your breaths will be calculated under this man's digital currency, man. Okay, but this is what we're seeing being set up. So let's go from there. Let's go back to the video.
Their prima facie evidence. We're at war.
This is
food production. We are at war. And the only people that don't seem to get that, Mike, my opinion, are the American citizens that are watching it happen, sitting back going, gee, that's unusual. Nothing's unusual. Everything people are seeing is absolute asymmetric warfare. That means before the nukes fly, before the bombers fly, before everything, the EMP, all of these events are indicative. They're prima facie evidence. We're at war.
This is a softening up of the American people and the U.S. infrastructure before the bombs fly. But let me actually show you this headline, Steve. Show my laptop screen here, guys. The Blackstone REIT, the Real Estate Investment Trust, limits investor redemptions in March. So, Steve, this is just one example of a financial institution that is telling people you can't withdraw your money at the rate that you wanted. You can have a little bit, but no more. Now, in the broadcast that I just recorded before our interview here, I was saying that I think this is going to spread to the banking system at large. Do you agree with that or disagree, Steve?
Well, first of all, I agree, Mike, and it's my contention that the big banks will be bailed in first. Bailed in is just simply a statement that the depositors' funds on deposit in the bank can be used to satisfy the bank's liquidity requirements or their Fed overnight the necessary deposits to keep them afloat. And so my latest information is the Fed is printing $200 billion a day. Now, I want people to understand it's $200 billion a day. By the end of the week, it's another $1 trillion to keep the big banks afloat. The first bail-ins will start at the biggest bank level. And even Jamie Dimon said, look, it's not about keeping the big banks afloat. It's about keeping the whole country afloat. And you do that by keeping the smaller banks. So here's how the bail-ins are going to work. They'll start with the biggest banks. In other words, the prime dozen. Then they'll scoot down to regional banks and then local banks. But make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, and Mike, you and I have talked about this over a year. We've done interviews together and special broadcasts. The Operation Sandman is being played out every day in the headlines as one more nation rejects the U.S. dollar. For instance, India basically said sayonara. I know that's not Indian for goodbye dollar.
Indians speaking Japanese, yeah.
Yeah, the Japanese just said sayonara to the U.S. dollar, and everybody's trading with Russia. Russia has enough oil and natural gas. It has mineral wealth. It has 25% of the fresh water on the planet. And all of these sanctimonious, suicidal sanctions of Biden have destroyed the United States' financial standing with any allies that we used to have. We know we have no more allies. None. Nada.
No,
zero.
Steve, when you first told me about Operation Sandman, and I don't remember, maybe 2 years ago or something along those lines, I was skeptical at first about that. But now, especially in the last month, we have seen a rapid.
Okay, and as you can see, all right, no one, pretty much, America is being isolated, for destruction. Okay, and what's happening? All these nations are siding with Russia. Okay, and this is all prophecy, man. Okay, this is all prophecy, man. Let's go to a couple more precepts. All right, the scriptures say these things will happen. All right, because you go here. Let's get this in the book of Jeremiah. Okay, 51. All right, so you go to the book of Isaiah 51:7 said, Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Okay, you see what's happening, and part of their wine was the dollar, which is pretty much America weaponized the dollar, to where it was able to put sanctions on these different nations and cripple their economy, it will. Okay, but what you're seeing now, is people are rejecting the American culture, the American dollar. Okay, and ultimately they're gonna wage war against this place. It's gonna lead to this. Okay, Jeremiah 51:11 says, "Make bright the arrows, gather the shields." Okay, And this is what we're seeing now. The weaponry of these other nations, all right, have been enhanced to be able to take down Babylon. All right. And the Lord made that happen. All right. The Lord had raised up. Oh, you see that? The Lord had raised up the spirit of the king of the Medes. All right. Which is Russia, modern day Russia. And all these nations are joining themselves unto who? The Medes. They're the assembly of nations. For his devices against Babylon to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Lord, the vengeance of his temple. And see, you know, they're gonna go into it, all right? Because old boy gonna go, hey, he gonna come straight out and say it, all right? But yeah, man, the Lord, all right, has a major problem, all right, with America, man. And he's gonna judge these other nations as well, but he's gonna get all these nations to judge America through war, man. All right. And every nation that has nuclear capability, all right, which Japan, you know, they pretty much sided with Russia. And that's another nuclear capable, okay, nation. Okay. So you go here. Let's get this. All right. All these nations are linking with Russia, man. And it's all prophecy. This is Yep, this is Jeremiah 50:9 said, "For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country," beginning with Russia. "And they," all right, you know it's going to be several, "shall set themselves in array against her," which is in a battle position. "From thence shall she be taken. Their arrow shall be as a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain." Okay, which means every missile shot and America is going to hit a target, man, and destroy. Okay? Well, we're seeing these nations come together based off economical, okay, alliances. Okay? Because before the war kicks off, all these nations are going to align themselves with who they think is going to be, all right, the winner of the war. Okay? So what we're seeing is the Lord is putting it, it's got it set up economically where it just makes sense for nations to deal with Russia. Okay? And these nations are doing that, man. All right? Let's go back.
Acceleration into Operation Sandman. So let me just share with people, this is a global operation where the Saudis are critical. They're pivotal in this whole operation. And you see the decisions they're making right now, where they're going to denounce the United States dollar. The petrodollar status will be history. The currency will be rejected by, 120 plus nations around the world. And frankly, Steve, even if it doesn't happen all at once, it's happening little by little every day. I saw Mexico announce they want to join BRICS. We've seen India, like you said, doing rupee deals with 19 other nations. Nations are trading with Russia. Japan just said we're going to buy oil from Russia. Japan's supposed to be controlled by the Western financial system, but they need energy. So they're going to buy oil from Russia, and they're not even going to respect the price caps that have been inflicted against Russian oil. And by the way, and I want your reaction to this, Steve, when the Saudis just announced a major OPEC cut of oil production, 1 million barrels per day across the OPEC countries, you know, the Saudis about 500,000 barrels a day themselves, that caused oil to spike up, and gold and silver. I want to ask you about that. But guess who benefits from the oil price increase? Russia. Saudi Arabia just handed Russia billions of dollars in additional profits as part of Operation Sandman. Wow.
And that's the thing I think that's important, because in asymmetrical warfare, Russia leads the world in the ability to basically set commodity prices. But here's the deal, Mike. They're using commodities for commodities. Japan traded Russia, I'm understanding. They didn't use rupees. They didn't use rubles. They didn't use yuan. They used technology, and they used value that's assigned and agreed. For instance, if you and I are trading, Mike Adams and Steve Quayle, I'm trading my microphone for his microphone. His microphone's 10 times better. I'll say, Mike, I'll give you my microphone and 5 ounces of gold. I'm just making this up. But the point is people are trading tangible wealth for tangible wealth. And I want to make it clear, the dollar is dead. Don't let anybody tell you that it isn't. It is dead, dying, gone, sayonara, arrivederci, bon voyage, auf Wiedersehen. Those are the only words I know right now. But the point being is that we're watching what was told to your listeners, my listeners, our mutual audience, to prepare. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, this thing is coming fast and furious. It's coming so fast and furious. And I've been in the gold business. Let me just deal with that really quick. I've been in the gold business 40 years as a dealer. And I got to share something. We are now seeing the panic. I've tried to tell people through all the years I've been talk radio, it'll come when you can't get it. People, my phone rang off the hook, and it was silent for January, February, into the 1st of March. But the point being is that now we're seeing an all-time high.
And Steve, we're sorry to interrupt you, but we're showing the gold price right here. It just spiked up massively in the last day. I had like $30 or $40 gain here, whatever. Oh, more than that. I'm sorry. Yeah. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just want to show.
No. Thank you. And please always interrupt, because I'm trying to cover as much as I can in the time we have. But this is the highest, ladies and gentlemen, 5,000 years. Now, here's what's critical. That chart should tell you that your standard of living is decreasing by that much, because gold maintains its value. I can take gold any place in the world. I can't take it to Safeway or any of the stores that are closing all their stores anyway, but it has universal value. So everything will be on a barter system. What Vladimir Putin has done, and I'm not a Russian agent, he has reestablished a barter, if you will, a barter standard of what people are trading what stuff for. It's a willing buyer and a willing seller. That is the object of a trade. And so, Mike, with gold and silver, I'm just telling people, you're going to have probably another week. And I say this because I'm in tune with what Europe sells to the U.S. I just know too many people not to be able to call and find out what's going on.
Yeah, and I know, well, a couple of things. So a year ago, when Russia first invaded Ukraine, gold, didn't it hit 2050? Something in that range, Steve? And
yeah, I think it did. It hit, no, it didn't hit 2050.
Oh,
to my knowledge. If it did, it was on the futures, but it never hit spot price.
Okay, not spot, but it was definitely close to that level. And here we are now at 2025 or something, 2022, as the price per ounce, a spot price of gold, and it's holding across this. This could see. We got to talk about Bakhmut.
And see, they're going into the price of gold, which gold is not, going to be a deterrent from the judgment of Yahweh Bashim al-Shai. Okay. And this, all of them going to the gold. I'm going to fast forward a little bit to another main part I wanted to get into. But, they always speak of gold, but gold is going to fail them in that day. Okay. You see, only the elect of Israel are going to be hedged from these times, because it's coming to the hardest times ever, man. And this place going to crash hard, man. When it does crash, because these nations, they can't, you see, the Lord has it where they can't operate outside of the dollar, okay, without crashing their own economies. So when they do decide to, all the nations do away with the dollar, okay, we're going to see a global, crash. Now, when you go to Proverbs 10:2, it said, treasures of wickedness profit nothing, but righteousness delivered from death. Now, when you go here to, the word treasures, okay, because at the end of the day, it's all about ushering in a new global currency, not establishing one of these other nations as the world currency. No, it's going to be global. It's going to be digital. Okay, so you go to a word in the Hebrew, which is ayatazar. Okay, ayatazar in the Hebrew, and it says a treasure, a storehouse. It says treasure of gold or silver. Okay, store supplies of food or drink, treasure house, treasury, okay, storehouse, magazine of weapons, okay. So showing you that, these treasures, that they tell you to get, all right, having gold is not going to be a deterrent of the Lord's judgment, okay. This is going to profit nothing when the Lord really opens up on this place, man. And this is what all these things are leading up to. And the Lord is allowing Esau to tap into the heart, okay, manipulate weather, and, do all these different things, okay. And it's all, the Esau is being used, all right, on the left-hand side to pretty much hurt the earth, man, until he's removed out of the way, all right. And this is what we stand on. Proverbs 10:3 said, the Lord will not suffer the soul of the righteous to famish, but he casts away the substance of the wicked. But he casteth away the substance of the wicked. Okay. And this is what we're finna see happen on a major scale. Okay. So let's go back, and I'm gonna fast forward the video just a little bit to another. About right. Okay.
Frankly.
Okay. And well, or they know that the acceptance of FedNow, or there's two things. There's always a software side of something, and there's always a hardware side of something.
Yeah.
But remember, after COVID, the lockdowns and all of the IC and everybody's manufacturing, there's a shortage of chips. And so the point that I'm trying to make, and this is, I think, more relevant and germane right now, is the U.S. dollar is effectively being assassinated in the global marketplace. Point one.
Yep.
Point two, there are rumors and there are open admissions that there's going to be a bank holiday. We don't know when, 1 to 2 weeks. There are admissions that when that happens, the EBT cards go down, the credit cards, the debit cards, and imagine everybody that you find out there's no way to conduct business because the stores can't stay open. This isn't scare tactics. This is open intel out there. It's my job, Mike's job, our job in the alternative press to tell you what we hear. We don't have billion-dollar intel budgets, but we do know people that still love the United States that still love the living God, that still care for people and don't want to see people slaughtered. And I believe that rumor has basis, Mike, that the FedNow team has basically split. That means it's throwing the monkey wrench into the plans of the people that are going, oh dear, what do we do? And we got Janet Yellen, who promised, she must have graduated from infantile tech, because she can't even think logically, in my opinion. And then you've got obviously Powell. And these two entities are working together. They don't know what they're doing. And then we get an announcement, Biden just gave Zelensky another $2 billion. Ladies and gentlemen, they're spending money they don't have. The world's watching the United States self-destruct. And pretty soon, no man will be able to buy our goods. But more importantly, we won't be able to buy anybody's goods because we no longer have the manufacturing base. We no longer have even the resource base because we're seeing our natural resources destroyed by the weather wars. And I wrote one of the first books, Mike.
Hold on, Steve. Let me respond to some of what you've already said there.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. We have a lot to cover, and I have something else to ask you here. But I should mention, I will take you up on your offer of 5 gold coins for this microphone. So let me know when you want to make that trade. I am happy to do that at any time. But I got to ask you about this before we go forward. Oh, and I have a name suggestion. Instead of Fed Now, I think we should call it Fed Apocalypse Now. How about that? Moving forward.
How about this? Fed Now, Dead Now.
Fed Now. I like that even better. Steve Quayle with the best word games here. Okay, here we go. U.S. Air Force plans to end Lockheed hypersonic weapon program. This is reported by Bloomberg. Oops, there it is. Now, this is actually a few days old. So the hypersonic missile program that the U.S. Pentagon has already thrust billions of dollars into that program with Lockheed Martin is done. They've abandoned it, and they abandoned it after the last set of tests failed. The U.S., for whatever reason, maybe because we have a woke Pentagon and a bunch of woke policies, instead of hiring the best engineers, you hire the most woke people. Well, the missiles don't fly. You see? And you can't just pretend like, oh, I'm going to self-identify as a missile that does fly. No, it doesn't work that way. So Russia has the Kinzhal missiles that are hypersonic. They're using them in this conflict. Russia can take out U.S. aircraft carriers. Russia can hit European cities. There are no air defenses in the West that can stop Russia's hypersonic missiles. None that I know of, that I've even heard of. Correct me if I'm wrong. But Steve, what does this mean for the future of America and the world, that the United States is no longer in possession of the dominant battlefield technology?
Simple. We lost the war. And ladies and gentlemen, political correctness, and like I said, high heels and different colored lipsticks and mankinis won't be an anti-ballistic missile shield for hypersonic weapons.
Too bad, though. That
we
would be hilarious.
forfeited our hypersonic weapon development a decade ago, Mike, and I got the scoop from somebody that was working on it. He said the Pentagon 10 years ago, there wasn't enough money in the program to basically kick back to everybody. North Korea has hypersonic weapons. Japan has hypersonic weapons. Most people are underestimating Japan. Japan has hypersonic weapons. Iran is working on hypersonic weapons. And believe it or not, we're now watching the, if you will, the put down or the destruction. All of America's leads that we used to possess in defense are gone. We don't even have F-35s that can fly through electronic warfare screens that Russia basically owns the skies with. Look, I'm no aeronautical engineer, I'll tell you this, but I know some of the brightest minds in the world that are. And I know some of the people that are now dead that worked on all that stuff. So what I'm telling you is this. We don't have the ability to defend our nation against one country, let alone fighting Russia, let alone provoking Russia. China, we welcome to the United States. They own us lock, stock, and national parks. They loaned us so much money during our, spend money like drunken sailor days, apology to drunken sailors, but they own natural resources because they wouldn't give us any more money until we signed over the deed. So when you look at the financial realm, Mike, we are a bankrupt nation. We're an emperor with no clothes. When it comes to weapons, we do not have the Satan 1 and 2 missiles or the SAMART 1 and 2. We do not have missiles that have 25, 50, and even 100 megaton warheads.
Yeah,
we
like the
don't.
Poseidon system.
And the Kinzhal, which is interesting, it's a
and see what the Lord has done. All right, He has opened up the His armory, okay, against Babylon. All right, so He has allowed these other nations to tap into, okay, this different, all right, military technologies, weapons, all right, hardware technology to come against America, man. Okay, as we read now, when you go here. All right, this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, okay, and verse 24. All right, matter of fact, I started 22. Matter of fact, I started 21. All right, this is Jeremiah 50 and 21 says, go up against the land of Marathon, okay, which we're going to get into that, even against it and against the inhabitants of Pekod, waste and utterly destroy after them, said the Lord, and do according to all that I have commanded thee. So it's the Lord, all right, that's moving these pieces in the earth, all right, and putting the spirit on these nations to be anti-America, man, okay, and the Lord is equipping these nations, all right, with the weaponry they need, all right, to fulfill His commandments. Now you go, all right, to Marathon, all right, in the Hebrew, all right, is Marah, all right, Tayum, Marah Tayum, okay, which means what? A double rebellion, okay, And America is at the forefront of rebellion against righteousness in the earth. Okay, to the point to where they want to force it on other nations. Okay, double rebellion. And then you go here, okay, to Pekah, all right, and all these are other names for Babylon, all right, which is Pakwayad in the Hebrew, and it means what? All right, visitation. So there's about to be a visitation on this double rebellion, and it's going to be in the form of of Jacob's trouble. It's going to be in the form of missiles. All right, it's going to be in the form of Yahweh Shai. Okay, there's going to be a visitation of judgment in the earth, and we see as they're talking about those missiles. Okay, that the Lord is preparing it. All right. Verse 22 says a sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction. Okay. And that's all you hear. News is what? Wars and what? Rumors of wars. Okay. And then they talk about what? The nuclear capability. They're talking about hypersonic nuclear missiles, man, with warheads. Okay. Multiple warheads. Okay. So a sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction. It says, how's the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? And America has been that hammer. Okay. It has just pulverized nations militarily and economically. Okay. How has Babylon become a desolation among the nations? All right. And it's going to go into it. I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou was not aware. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord. And the Lord constantly reverts back to how this place is anti-Messiah, man. Okay. And the Lord is setting this place up for failure. And then you go into the war. All right. These different war analytics, he pretty much tell you, like, look, the West has nothing to defend itself against, those hypersonic weaponry, man. Okay, and it's gonna be some surprises of who else got hypersonic weapons, man, when they go down. Jeremiah 50 and 25, it said, the Lord have opened his armory, okay, and have brought forth the weapons of his indignation, for this is the work of the Lord, power of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans. Okay, and this is what we're seeing, all right, happen in real time and unfold as the Lord is opening up his armory, man. Okay, that's why these weapons are so advanced and so precise and so destructive. Okay, because the Lord has tapped in, all right, into these different engineers and military scientists to allow them to come up with this weaponry for his purpose against, all right, Babylon, man, which is America. Okay, let's go back to the video.
It's a word for sword. It's kind of a biblical term. It truly is. The weapons we do not have the Satan 1 and 2 missiles, or the SAMART 1 and 2. We do not have missiles that have 25, 50, and even 100 megaton warheads.
Yeah,
we
like the
don't.
Poseidon.
Now we're gonna hear, hey, he's finna relate this to the Bible, man. Now he's finna start making some comparison to the Bible, because at the end of the day, all roads lead to prophecy, man. Only prophecy explains what's going on real time, man. Okay.
Yeah,
system.
and the Kinzal, which is interesting, it's a word for sword. It's kind of a biblical term. It truly is in the book of Revelation that the sword, this is the sword of God's. I'm telling you, God will use Russia to punish the United States. It's not that Russia's morally superior, although they are in some areas. They're not the ones saying we're fighting against God. We don't want God. I mean, they're fighting.
You hear that? Let's run it back, man. All right, and we're gonna go into it biblically, man. Okay.
It's a word for sword. It's kind of a biblical term. It truly is in the book of Revelation that the sword, this is the sword of God's. I'm telling you, God will use Russia to punish the United States. It's not that Russia's morally superior.
Okay, God will use Russia to punish the United States. All right, God will use Russia to punish the United States. All right, and Russia is going to be at the spearhead. They're going to spearhead the destruction, okay, of America, of Babylon. You see, so like, I'm going to show you one thing. So let's get this in prophecy. All right, this is Jeremiah. I'm going to get to Isaiah. Oh, Salaki. Okay. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 13, verse 17. All right, and it says, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. You see it? The Medes will be stirred up against Babylon, man, which is Russia. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb, neither shall their eyes spare. All right, and the bows is going to be those missiles, man. Okay, those missiles don't have emotions. All right, they're not going to look and see, oh, she's pregnant. All right, damn, she's a baddie. You know, let her make it. No, the missiles come to do what they do. Okay, and there's to devour. All right, let's turn this place and everything in it into a desert. Verse 13, it says, in Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldeans' excellency shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah, which is with what? With fire. All right, consumed with fire. Okay, let's get this in Revelation. You know, because Russia always, you know, comes on the scene when it's time for the destruction of this place, man. Okay. Now it says, and when 1,000 years are expired, speaking of the dark ages, all right, when Esau Edom, you know, was removed from power, pushed out of power, you know, pretty much supplanted by Jake, you know, starting with the overthrow of the pagan Roman Empire, you know, during the time of Constantine, you know, which it started before, you know, but it was fully, you know, implemented, you know, during that time of Constantine. You know, you go back to Septimius Severus, okay, all the way to Constantine, you know, pretty much led to the overthrow of the pagan Roman Empire, you know, into the rulership of Jake, you know, and Jake was pretty much, you know, running Europe, you know, what they call the Dark Ages, all right, but Satan, which is Esau Edom, you know, the adversary, you know, the who's working is after the, you know, who's coming is after the working of Satan, all right, in the earth, you know, and he shall be loosed out of his prison, all right, was he was able to go forth, you know, from, you know, these lands where he was pushed off to, you know, the Caucasus Mountains, you know, different regions where he was pushed off to, and he was able to, all right, start to have dominion again. Okay. Verse 8 and says, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, which he did. Okay, the Renaissance Christianity, plantation Christianity, you know, his you know, his history that he has written, you know, all his ideology that this man pushes in the earth, he's pretty much deceived the masses. Okay, not calling nations by their biblical nationalities, but all these different names and colors. Okay, this man has sown a lot of deception in the earth since the Renaissance period when he was allowed, right, to come back into power. Okay, but what would it lead to? Gog and Magog, which is Russia, to gather them together to battle, and the number of whom is the sand of the sea. Yeah, so the Lord does have a role for Russia to come against, okay, Babylon the Great, America, man. All right, and even he sees it, okay, you know, which, hey, you know, he could be a Jake. I know Mike Adams, an Edomite, you know, the corny ass jokes. he be having. All right. Sometimes I wish he would just let, this guy talk. He always want to interject. That's an Edomite characteristic. Try to show, how smart he is, man. Instead of let Steve Quayle get off, man. But we'll go back to it, play a little more.
Although they are in some areas, they're not the ones saying we're fighting against God. We don't want God. I mean, they're fighting for the Western Orthodox Church. And now let's look at this too. It's important. Weapons development is everything. We're talking about this. By the time you're seeing this, it's April 5th. We've been told that 50,000 North Koreans are headed to help Russia. I'm being told that the rumor's already out there based on train loads coming through Siberia. 800,000 North Koreans have volunteered to go and fight the West.
How can that be? How do they have 800,000 soldiers to spare?
800,000 North Koreans.
Well, but wait a second. I mean, that would require a massive, logistics supply chain of food and bunks and socks and everything. I mean,
trains.
And you see how this guy, like I say, Mike Adams, okay, goddamn Edomite, shut your ass up, man. Let the man tell you what's going on, okay? Because obviously you don't know. Okay, and it's a light thing, he talking about that's a lot of logistics. Shut your ass up. Okay, them folks ain't got that shit figured out. Okay. You don't think that they done plan for all that, man? Because see, one thing about North Korea, they citizens volunteer to go to war to America, man. Okay, they that's a whole different culture over there. They like, yeah, let's get it. All right, you see them. These are like the and Americans. These hot pocket, eating Americans. They not built for what's to come, man. But them other nations, all right, they like, yeah, let's get this bitch. So a lot of those men volunteer to go to war against this place, man. Okay, and there's a light thing for the Lord to move. Utilize Russia to move them troops over there, man. Okay. Hey, because they finna march, all right, to the valley of Megiddo, man. Okay, the mountain of troops, all right, for the battle of Yehoshaphat. Okay, Joel the 3rd chapter. So yeah, the Lord is stirring up the battle, man. Okay, well I say if Mike Adams would shut the hell up, he get the scoop. All right, I'm gonna let him play some more.
I'm being told trains are so long and with multiple locomotives. Listen, this isn't just all going out at once. When NATO and when Finland decided they were going to join NATO, I don't know what the status of Sweden is, yes or no, but I want you to know that it's really important that people understand that this is and we can't go into it now in the short time, but this is a setting up for the Ezekiel 38 war, whether you don't want to believe it or not, and it can happen simultaneously with World War III. The United States is going to disappear, Mike, and that's because we are deficient in our morale. We have no morale. We have watched our own military be destroyed, assassinated. We've had the character of amazing men and women in the military fighting. They've been denigrated if they haven't been killed off. So we have this group of what I would call sycophants, in my opinion, and just psychotic pseudo sanctionists that want to basically think that they can just bluff their way through. Everybody in the world is called America's financial bluff. Everybody in the world is getting ready to call our military bluff.
Ooh, wow. Yeah, exactly. I think you just nailed it. I don't think America can field the munitions and the weapon systems necessary to defeat Russia in a land war. I don't think that's possible right now today in 2023 because of the munitions shortage and lack of hypersonic missiles like we were just talking about. But Steve, maybe we'll get back to Russia, what's happening in NATO. I want to shift gears here for a second. I want to talk about weather weaponization and all these insane storms and tornadoes, floods, and of course, droughts to come happening in America. First, though, let me give credit to our sponsor today, which is the satellite phone store, SAT123.com. And they have these solar generators, which are the EcoFlow devices. So you see, folks, you can get solar panels here. And then these devices have inverters and charge controllers. So they store the electricity in the lithium ion batteries in these products. And they
power is the most wonderful.
So yeah, they go into some more things. It's about another 50 minutes left on there. So if you want to watch the rest of it, I'll leave a link and kind of get some more info. But the main point he said was like, look, people are going to call. People are already calling America's financial bluff. It's going to come a time, to where they're going to call their military bluff, man. They're going to try this bitch. You see, and it's all in scripture. So let's get it here. We'll end it here. I just want to bring those things out. Different various topics. I thought would be informative. Okay, as we watch what's going on. All right, so this is the book of Joel, chapter 3. Okay, in Joel 3 and all right, 9, it says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty man, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. And we're seeing this, man. And he said, what they say, 800,000, all right, North Korean troops, okay, pretty much being, sent to Russia for aid, okay. All these nations are preparing for war, man. All the men of war are drawing near. The Lord has a spirit of war in the earth, man. Okay? This is the Lord's program. All right? Logistics, that's a light thing. Okay? It said, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I'm strong. And this is what's happening, man. Okay? These nations now, all right, have capability to where, hey, they can strike back against, all right, the hammer of the earth, which is America. Okay, they have some get back power now. All right, and we're seeing it come together. It says, assemble yourselves and come, all the heathen, all right, and gather yourselves together round about till the cause the mighty ones to go down. O Lord, let the heathen be awakened and come to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Okay, and that's over there in, all right, that Middle Eastern region, pretty much Western Syria, going into Israel. Okay, because a lot of the certain portions of Syria, was a part of Israel. All right, part of our land. Back in the ancient time, when we was in that land, because the Israel that they have on the map now is a much smaller version of what we had when we was in that land. Okay, so that valley of Jehoshaphat, all right, is going into that region, okay, where the Lord or Yahweh Shah will come back, and he's going to go to war with these heathens, man. As they go to war with each other, as America is completely destroyed, Yahweh Shah is going to come back and he's going to judge the earth through his son. And that's why when you get, all right, let's get this word, judge, okay. All right, which is Shabbat. All right, in the Hebrew. All right, it says to judge, to govern, to vindicate, all right, to punish. Okay, it says to execute judgment, all right, to decide controversy. Okay, well, the Lord is going to decide the controversy in the earth, man, and it's going to be the punishment of these heathens, all right, and the establishing of Israel, okay, as the eternal government in the earth. Okay, now go here. It says at the theophanic, all right, Theo goes into to God, all right, And so it's the theophanic, okay, and advent for final judgment, okay, the Most High's final judgment, man, okay, because this is the last war. All right, so we're seeing the build up to it, and we're seeing all these other things happening at the same time. Okay, the trail derailments, all these things, and like I say, the financial, crisis, and the banks, and all these different things that's happening, because the Lord, all right, is getting ready to judge in the earth, man. Okay, and there's going to be judgment all the way up into the missiles, man. Okay, into the day of the Lord, the day Yahweh Shai actually, returns to the earth, and to judge these militaries through war. Okay, so Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you sisters edify. I just want to bring that out to next time I say Shalom. Kwam Yashala, Abba, details on Shalom.